Jeez.
Yeah, 7.5. Well, it was like 100 years ago.
Paul.
No, it's the years, not anything else. How old are you now?
59.
Okay, so you did this when you were, I'm assuming, 19? 40
yeah, 19
years?
or 20.
40
Yeah, 19 or
years
20.
ago. How high
Well,
do
I'm
you...
allowed to look like I can't do it now.
Exactly, right. How high do you think you can high jump now?
I have trouble getting up over the curb.
No, all right, with training, with 6 months of training, because I'd like to see this as a contest for charity. Because whatever you pick,
I would tell you right now, because of my ankle, I could not jump, I think,
shoot.
literally at all.
And there's nothing you could do to solve that.
No,
right.
no. So I don't think that I literally physically could actually run and plant as hard as you needed to actually jump without crumpling my ankle. So that would be, maybe that's a cop-out. But I don't know that I could actually jump again.
I don't see you as a cop-out person. I think if you could do it, you would be challenged.
I would love to.
Yeah, see? All right, let's get to what I didn't want to get
what
off
do we
track.
Got?
No, what do you got?
I'm like everybody else. It's Tuesday. I cannot wait for the NBA Cup.
Don't be making fun of us. Come on. I
hope you can see my tongue in my cheek.
I can't because Mark Tauscher's come up with a great idea. Mark Tauscher's come up with a great idea. The team that wins gets the first draft pick after the lottery. And for the teams that are good, it'd be awesome.
But they haven't done that.
I know. Why not? They want to sell that it's a big deal, and everybody knows it's not a big deal. Everybody knows the coaches are making it up. Everybody knows the players are making it up. But
yeah, you need something. I just marvel at. So yeah, obviously I'm tongue in cheek here with the comment. I am glad to see the Bucks are playing better. I do think they need some. I don't get how guys that make literally, and I'm not jealous of the money, I promise, but guys that are making that much, that the idea of making a little more will focus them and make that more important. That this financial return, like if I'm already making 10 or if I'm already making 50, the promise of whatever I win for the tournament, like I don't know that can inspire me any more than what I have every night.
Of course not, unless you're the last player on the team. Now, who has ever done anything that's for the last? What?
Last guy on the bench, it means something to him, but he's not playing. So
I
know.
It's the absurdity.
He's not making an impact.
Yes, keep going. The absurdity just goes on and on and on. It's.
Anyway, I'm glad they have fancy courts, and I'm glad the Bucks are playing for it, and they're playing better. So
and they did do one thing right. If you want to try to sell anything, finish it in Vegas.
And have a cup.
Somebody will want you. Somebody will always want to go to Vegas, right? I don't think that's changed. It has a little bit because you can gamble everywhere now. Vegas, if people haven't been to Vegas, Vegas is just totally different now than it used to be. But it still has a special spot, don't you think, to a certain percentage of people? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's it's gambling is legal in many places, but not everybody has quite the gin joints that Vegas has by which you can then go to the table. So for sure. But anyway, it's good for them. Very excited. The Bucks are playing better. I thought they were hopeless for the long time, and so at least I'm encouraged about that. And I'll worry about it again in May and June. We'll see what happens. I'll worry about them.
And you hope it's June. You hope it's June and July, don't they? Do they? I think they finish in July. But yeah, I agree totally.
No, June.
They're playing better. They've played some kids, and I now think they're going to be a player. I don't know how far they go, but I think what?
I've got some faith now. I admitted I had strayed from my beliefs, but they look like they know a little bit about how to play basketball now. It's good for them. You know who else looks like know how to play? The Green Bay Packers defense looked like they knew how to play a little bit.
Yes, I've made a national pitch, and please would you pass it along? The Green Bay Packers are now ranked tied for 7th for sacks. 7th. And just so you know, they're 32 teams, 7th. All this discussion about no sacks, the Packers are now tied for 7th. And granted, yes, 7 sacks will help you, but I believe everybody in the front 7 deserves an apology. I've given them one because I don't care how you get there. If you are 7th in any NFL stat, that means you're toward the top. You seem. It's like I just tried to sell the cup.
Right.
I just wanted to beat you to that line because that's how you look. Nice try, Homer. Let's move on.
So, well, no, they had 7 in this game. Great.
But I can tell you why. I can tell you why. And I'm selling this. And Rob Domowski told me in it. They got 7 because they got the best defensive player on the team playing now. And his last name is Cooper. The best defensive player on the team now when healthy. You can tell me I'm crazy just like he did. That's how they got 7 sacks.
He was really, really good.
Yes.
In all ways and stuff. So I need to step back and unpack this a little backwards.
Right.
So 7 is great, but you also went up against, for the better part of the whole, more than half the game, against a guy who literally couldn't play, doesn't know how to play quarterback.
Can I interject one question?
I'm not for sure that
I
wasn't
think
their
he's
place
the worst pro quarterback I've ever seen, but I don't know if that's accurate because it was more like every time I thought he was going to get sacked, and he looked like a plumber playing quarterback. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
He started a whole year right for Washington, right? I mean, he's
unbelievable.
So
right?
explain it.
We keep getting off track. But yeah, but that's
no. This is not off track. I want to make sure. I could be wrong. I can't remember ever seeing someone as bad as he seemed, but I might be overreacting.
Homer, you watched the Packers quarterbacks in the 70s. They started like 5 guys that looked like that.
Okay, all right. I knew you'd set me straight. Fine. Okay. You had to go back 50 years, sir.
Well, no, you know.
I know.
Right off hand, there's guys that can't. Anyway, so that they benefited from that guy for sure. By the way, there's another thing between him and Trubisky, and watch Drake May. Don't pick a quarterback that was from North Carolina that was groomed under Mac Brown. It's just not going to work for you. That's just a side note I'm throwing in for free. But you got 7 there.
By the way, you need to know about Mitch Trubisky as I continue to get off track. The only quarterback in NFL history with 50 starts who never threw a pick six. Run with that one, sir. Only one. Only one.
So that's great because that matches the number of Super Bowls he has, right?
Yeah, well, you can take it wherever you want, but you now have that fact to use as you wish.
Right. So
back to where you were at.
Next time I am in a heated discussion where I'm defending Mitch Trubisky, I will throw that one out.
No, it's a trivia question. I believe that you will never lose. I don't believe that anyone would ever pick him unless they know the answer. I think, and you never want to say 100%, but I'm pretty sure 100%, right? Do you think anybody would pick him until they know it?
No. So they had 7 against a guy who couldn't play.
Right.
And then they had 8 in Tennessee against a guy who couldn't play.
Right.
So that skews the numbers a little.
Correct.
Right? Because we're not talking about 6,000 passing yards. We're talking about, numbers between 20 and 40 right now. So they had that. I'm with you. I apologize. They played really well. They seemed motivated. They seemed like they're like, okay, we need to go out. And as I've said before, we need to kind of make a statement that actually we can play, that we're not a bunch of just guys taking up blockers on the front and then embarrassing our secondary on the back end. So, yes, they get all the credit in the world for playing really, really well. Their whole aggressiveness seemed different. The whole nature of that line seemed different. And listen, it was not a great Seattle offensive line, which doesn't take away from it. It just shows that's what you need to do.
Their line has been horrible, but they had a change at center, and then the center got hurt. But I want to emphasize.
But if you have a bad line, right? If you have a bad line, then you may need to make sure you do that because you look bad if they have a bad line. So I don't apologize. They shouldn't have to apologize. Well, the line wasn't great, right? But they took advantage of it.
Right, but I'm saying the whole reason is no Cooper and they have 4. No Cooper, maybe they have 3. That's how good I think Cooper was.
And then Cooper came in the whole game and was just instrumental. It would have been criminal if they'd called a penalty on the sack of Gino there. Like he was great. He was everywhere. And then when things looked a little shaky with the offense, right? Those first couple of series in the fourth quarter, he made the interception. He's like, okay, I will put enough of this screwing around. I guess if I have to solve this for everybody, I will just do that. And I guess maybe we had heard that he was very good and he was a great player on that defense. They really liked him. And they got hurt and he was gone for such a stretch
3 games
that I think both you forgot about how good he was, or maybe we didn't realize he was that good. Like that was not only a return, but quite a coming out party. And so, like to the point, like I didn't miss Quay Walker. I don't know if anybody else did. So, yeah, he was fantastic. I mean, he plays like that. You know, one guy on defense can disrupt a lot of things. Who was that? Was it?
No,
I don't know which coach it was, but it said you need 11 guys to make the offensive play work. You only need one guy on defense to blow things up. And he's a guy that can, if he's like that, he changes the whole nature of things.
How about this? As I just continue, it'll be the show in which Homer goes too far and doesn't let John Anderson talk too much, but Homer always interrupts. If he's that good, they're going to the Super Bowl. Write it down.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
you've gone insane.
Well, no, it's going to be impossible for him to be that good. But if he plays at that level, right, without a bad line and everything like that, that makes your defense so much different. You just said it.
It does. But and listen, and it was impressive because even if Seattle wasn't great, it was still in Seattle, which is a really hard place to play, regardless of what the team is.
Right.
So all the things are impressive. It was once. I need you to play again really good against, it would hopefully play against another sort of so-so team and maybe even awful team.
No, big
in New Orleans.
Big
good.
To
Show me that again.
I need to see it against Minnesota.
And then show me that you're all right with the Vikings when you come up in caliber, and then I'll buy that. Like I think he's great. But if he's truly transformative, I need more than 60 minutes.
And I will grant to you, he could be transformative and still not be transformative this year. It's really pushy, and then there's a possibility of getting hurt and everything like that. But I'm saying that's the kind of defensive player, whoever it is, that changes things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
They knew, and then when they drafted him in the second round, right, they were saying, we think we got a steal. Like, we think we got really the best linebacker in the whole bunch, and we got him in the second round. So, if that's the case, then Goody hit another one, and he fixed the kicking thing, and so now he's really on a roll.
Yes, which is, I just always quote Ron Wolf. He said, it's hard. If I was so smart, I wouldn't have taken Donald Driver in the 7th round, but I'd have taken him a lot earlier. So, but yeah, that's why we get in this discussion as I go off on the 26 tangent. On A.J. Hawk, I never bring up where someone's drafted. I just judge how they play. And then the draft is to judge the general manager and how they did on that pick. And you can mess up first-round picks. Ron Wolf did a number of them. He talked about it, and yet he still put together a great team. I think he got out of the league because he could no longer add veterans, free agents, and stuff when he wanted to, because they said, oh, wait, you got to talk to the cap guy. He goes, I got to do what? I got to talk to the cap guy? I quit. I don't want to be in that league. Now, do you think that's even close to accurate? Is that another one of my stories that just made up?
I don't know that it's quite that, but, I can see there's maybe frustration, but that's a legit thing. That wasn't like somebody has more power than you. Like, you got to now just share decision-making. It's just you either have the money for this player or you don't. So maybe that was what happened.
All right, we're going to take a break.
Real quick, I agree on A.J. Hawk. I always say if A.J. Hawk had been drafted 21st in the first round instead of 5th or whatever it was, people would go, wow, what a great pick he was.
Yeah, see, I never would.
No?
No. He was an average player in that position, as you've checked. If you played that position, you would have a lot of tackles. Everybody who plays that position has. Now, there were clearly values to him because he played so long. May have been a good leader, may have run the defense well, but he is what we knew he was. Was he a good first-round pick at that spot? No, but there weren't that many good picks back then when you do the study. He was a guy, but he had to be a little bit more because it's hard to play in the league that long. If you play in the league that long, you have to have a value. And he must have been smart or didn't screw up, but nobody ever made as many tackles 8 yards down the field, right? Would you agree, or what's the...
Quay Walker's working on it.
Yes. In his moments, Quay Walker's moments are better than A.J. Hawk's moments. Well, no, I'm not. I just want to take a break because I want to come back with the second quarter, and then I just won't be as insane. John Anderson will come back and try to lead some sanity to this show. I just won't say anything, and we'll get John Anderson's thoughts on all the weird stuff I brought up. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
We've got some delays along eastbound 94, stretching pretty much all the way from Highway 164 all the way past Brookfield Road. Then you're back on the brakes coming out of the Zoo interchange all the way through to 35th. The westbound side, very heavy, out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. We've got some delays along southbound 894 out of the Zoo interchange all the way down past Lincoln. And then back on the brakes from Beloit Road down and around the Hale interchange to Forest Home. Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Visit jamesimaging.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Snow showers likely, less than an inch of accumulation, a low of 28. Tomorrow, chance for early morning snow, then mostly cloudy and breezy, a high of 33. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazga on 94.5 ESPN.
The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
Right now, they'd be a toss-up with the Herd.
People just don't know how funny mean you are.
Come on.
Well, I mean, that's mean, but it's funny, and the funny trumps the mean, and so you laugh.
But there might be some truth to that.
Of course there's some truth to it.
The Homer Hour with Homer. Weekdays from 5 to 6. Right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
Take the stress out of the holiday season with the Milwaukee Bucks. Get all your shopping done with Bucks Deal Season offers, featuring great gifts and limited time packages that even Scrooge will love. Score deals for everyone on your list, including yourself, from the Milwaukee Bucks and Pfizer Forum. 'Tis the season for cheer with your favorite deer. After all, there's no place like Pfizer Forum for the holidays. Shop the offers today at bucks.com/deal season.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. Better is right around the corner in 2025. Feeling better, that is. Getting rid of that joint pain once and for all. QC Kinetics is your solution to finally getting that joint pain relief that you are looking for. When I went to QC Kinetics, I found them to be incredibly accommodating, knowledgeable, and personal to be able to take what I was dealing with and put me on my own individualized plan to pain relief. So no matter what you're dealing with, shoulders, knees, hips, or back, it was back for me. The medical professionals at QC Kinetics are going to use all the tools in their tool belt to help give you that pain relief you've been looking for. So many things that allow you to feel your best for a brand new year. If you've been told surgery is your only or best option, you deserve a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation to live your best life in 2025. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Year-end savings are here at Land Rover Waukesha. Unwrap a truly unique luxury SUV this holiday season. The new Range Rover Velar provides power, performance, sporting luxury, and all the latest technology. Get 3.9% special APR financing for up to 72 months only on a new 2025 Range Rover Velar at Land Rover Waukesha. 3.9% APR for 72 months. A deal so nice, even Santa will want in. Get your mittens on the most luxurious ride this holiday season. LandRoverWaukesha.com.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Do you have a car, boat, ATV, or motorcycle taking up space in storage or your garage? I tell you to consider donating to Rawhide Youth Services. Rawhide Youth Services. Co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Cherry Starr, yes, that Starr family. Rawhide, the faith-based nonprofit that helps thousands of youth every year, many right here in Milwaukee, overcome trauma, suicidal thoughts, and live better lives. They need vehicle donations. As a matter of fact, I've been there. So you have 4 ways. You could donate a car, or you could buy one of the cars they're selling on eBay. They're so good at it. Or you could donate a boat, or you could buy a boat. Again, you go to eBay, Rawhide Youth Services, all different ways you can make a donation and make a difference. Visit rawhide.org/donate and learn how you can help today. All right, it's the second quarter. You would agree that was probably the strangest first quarter you've ever had with me. How many times did you think he's lost it? He's drinking. He's now picked up marijuana. Are they making that legal in Wisconsin? I don't know the thoughts that you had, but you did at some point, maybe a couple times, wonder, is Homer okay? Correct?
There were some spots in there. I thought you were a little too excited about the NBA Cup, where I'm totally not. I love that you were trying to legitimize it. Then there were, I forget what other one where I said you were insane, but it was, it's great. I don't know. And then we talked about Mitch Trubisky, which wasn't needed. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's happening.
All right, let's go to the Packers.
I listened to your commercials, and the one place is, what is it? It's 38 minutes away?
Yes.
Or what?
Yeah, American Place Casino. You used to be going a little bit too far. I need to probably do that right now. It's glad you bring that up. American Place Casino, just a half hour south of Franklin. Somebody complained. Said, Homer, be accurate. So I went, it's 38 minutes. So now I say 38 minutes, and I say it about 1 million times. Even John Anderson's tired of it. It's located in Lake County, Illinois, American Place Casino. They have great table games. They have great slot machines. They got a sports book. They got great food. They got promotions, AmericanPlaceCasino.com. They have the Oztacular Countdown on New Year's Eve. $50,000 cash and free play giveaway. Oh, baby. But no one's going to remember that, because what they're going to remember. What are they going to remember, John? How many minutes? South of Franklin.
38.
38 minutes, American Place Casino. Check out Oztacular as well. All right, back to John Anderson on the Packers. Reality, honesty, where you are. I wouldn't say you've been tough on them, but they have not sold you. And I don't know, and I'll ask this, did they sell you at all on what they did against Seattle?
Yeah, totally. And I don't know that I'm especially tough on them. I don't think of that. I think given what they showed last year, given what people thought they were going to be, they earned people being tough on them.
All right.
That they earned that they are now, they're not in the meaty part of the curve. So if you're going to grade them, you get to grade them harder than if they were last year. So I don't know that I don't look at it that oh, wow, Anderson's either a pessimist or he's really hard on those guys. I think the standard that they set for themselves towards the end of last year prompted where we are now. Would you buy that?
Yeah. No, I don't. No, I didn't. I don't think you've been unfair. I think you're. You need to see something to make you think they can be special, and that's a tough year because they're going to have to do it on the road. Stuff. What?
I thought they were good out of the gate. They did some things that I really like that sometimes they don't do. I like that. Now they've been really good, except for that Detroit game. I think they had 10 games in a row where they scored first on the road, and then they didn't in Detroit, and they did again. So they usually come out and do that. But I like that they actually back that up. And too often they score, and then the defense comes down and lets them down, and the other team puts something right up, and now you've kind of lost whatever advantage you have. I love that he was won the toss, and they took the ball and scored. I think good teams should do that offensively all the time. We've won the toss, and we have elected to score. I think that was a great job by them. They backed up. That whole first quarter was okay, if you play like that, then now you've got everybody else on their heels. So I was really impressed how that was, that the defense kind of knuckled down early, and the Packers now are playing from ahead and comfortably ahead the entire time. Even when they Seattle got a little bit going, they locked down and forced a couple of field goal attempts. So I thought that part was really, really impressive. I don't know that it's kind of a sliding scale. When they beat the Rams, we thought, the Rams aren't any good. Well, the Rams turns out they're all right. Seattle comes in, they'd won 4 in a row. You're I think they're pretty good. And then you watch them play, and their quarterback gets hurt. And you're I don't know how good they are. So that's kind of hard to measure the opponent all the time. I just thought the Packers played really well. If the old thing is we can only control what we control, I thought they played really well, and they did show me some stuff where I'm okay, that's a team that if they play like that, that's different than the team that played the Vikings the first time. That might be a little difference defensively than what we saw against Detroit. I think Cooper makes a difference in that Detroit game if he's in there. Then I watched Detroit get more guys hurt, and I'm like, okay, that's not going to be the same team if you got to see them again. Right now, I'm like, I think I'd rather see them again against Philly, although Philly was good for a while. So, no, I thought they showed me great promise right there. Like, I think if that's their potential outside of those couple, 3 series where they got a little loose in the fourth quarter, like that team's a menace. If they play like that, they're a menace.
All right, they're a menace. All right, I have a question for you. We're going to take a break, but I like to tease, I said before, with the fact. So Gary Ellerson said, look, if you want to tell me you're a tease, then you got to go to Minnesota and beat the Vikings to show to the world what you are now and what you can do. And anything less than a victory there means you can't really sell what you just said, and we will do that next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound on 94, backing up from just east of Highway 16, pretty much all the way through the Barker Road area to Brookfield Road. You'll be back on the brakes heavily out of the Zoo Interchange all the way through the Stadium Interchange. The westbound side's backed up out of the Marquette all the way to Holly Road, and some more delays west of Highway 100 into Waukesha County. Those delays don't really let up till you get past Brookfield Road either. On southbound 41, slowing from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. You'll be back on the brakes from the Zoo Interchange on the bypass all the way down and around the Hale Interchange past Forest Home. Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Visit jamesimaging.com. And check in the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Snow showers likely, less than an inch of accumulation, a low of 28. Tomorrow, a chance for early morning snow, mostly cloudy and breezy, a high of 33. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Discount Liquor. Did you know that George Washington served his own homemade version of eggnog made with rum, rye whiskey, and sherry? Well, a lot's changed since the days of our first president. But one constant has been celebrating the holiday season and upcoming new year with family, friends, and loved ones. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. 'Tis the season to check out Discount Liquor's tremendous selection of over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,000 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines from around the world. And yes, we do carry 8 varieties of ready-to-drink eggnog. Celebrate this most festive time with a great selection of beautifully packaged liquor gift sets, sure to make you the hit of the party or as a perfect gift for the liquor connoisseur on your shopping list. Discount Liquor, 2 locations, in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount Liquor.
See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Winter is here. Don't let your car care take a backseat. Protect your car against rust, salt, and grime this season at Tsunami Express Car Wash. Tsunami Express makes cleanup a breeze with their state-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and convenient unlimited wash memberships. Try their new best-in-class T2 with graphene wash for the ultimate long-lasting shine and protection. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Try your first wash free when you sign up online at TsunamiExpress.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. That's right, now's your last chance to trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Only at Verizon. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Kevin Moret for Mentality Men's Health. Guys, I know you hate to feel weak. That means something different for every guy, but for most guys, it means the way they look and move through their day. Did you know that 70% of Mentality clients see an increase in their muscle mass, their muscle tone, and the way they look? This means our clients got their confidence back. If you're looking to look and feel the way you did years ago, join the over 25,000 guys at Mentality and get your confidence back. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
We moved to the third quarter, the John Anderson Homer Hour, and I gave a tease, which I always say, if it's good, then tell them what it is, and that'll make people want to come back. And that was Gary Ellerson. And I thought he was tough because I thought if you lose to the Vikings, but you show that you're their equal, you're playing at their place, then it'd be nice if you win. But I have to leave that game thinking Packers, everybody's good as the Vikings, even if they didn't win this game. And Gary said, no, you're going to have to sell them and sell the league that you are now, and you can only do that by winning. And now, John Anderson, 7-2.5. Which club are you in, his or mine?
I'm going to go with Gary Ellerson, even though the Badgers twice beat Missouri when I was a freshman and he was on those teams. And here's why. Like when I went to when they played in Detroit, I was kind of that mind. Okay, let's after as disastrous as they looked against the Lions in Green Bay, they need to show that they can play with the Lions. Okay, they showed they could because I thought at the time that they were the best team in the conference, best team in the NFL. They still might be, but the injuries could change that. So I'm going to side with Gary on this in that they keep showing this promise now, and they've really come off a game where they were strong. You assume that they'll play like that again, hopefully at home against New Orleans on Monday night. You would think that that's just right for them to come out and just put a whipping on somebody. The reason I think that they need to beat the Vikings, and that's important, is that you will have had all these teams in front of you, and all your losses right now are the 12-2 teams. So at some point, though, I need to show that you can't just play with them, but you can actually beat them. At some point, I need a little bit that's like, okay, we're every bit as good as them. Yep, we can hang in these games. Yep, we'll be there in these games. But at some point, you actually have to win one. I'm sure you've seen that. You've covered enough sports or watched Marquette enough. Okay, enough of this. We're close. Yep, we got. At some point, you actually need to do it. And in the playoffs, when you probably are going to see at least two of those three teams that are 12-2, if you want to get the Super Bowl, you're going to have to let them know that you can beat them. Where the Packers are, right now, you're like, yeah, I got it. They're okay, but we managed to find a way to win in the end. And you need to take that away from the other team, that the idea is that, yeah, well, whatever it is, we'll still find a way to win at the end. So I think if you go into Minnesota, again, it'll be a hard place to play, but as always, there'll be tons of Packer fans. I'm with Gary. I think it would be really important to show that not only can we play with these teams, but we can beat these teams, because those are two different things. That we can play with somebody and we can beat somebody are two different things. So and this is your last shot. Because if you beat the Bears at home, I don't know that anybody's going to go, oh, well, now look out. So, yeah, I think this is they've made a really nice statement Sunday night. And then I think that Sunday afternoon in Minnesota will be big to trying to point out just how legitimate they can be in the NFC.
And I want to agree, but they've shown me everything that I needed to see. All right, they now run the ball. They now have the guy. They can now stop the run. But if something happened in that game where, then you're just saying they can't get it done when it counts. Everything we've asked of the Packers, they've done. Jordan Love is no longer turning the ball over. They're running the ball. And can run it down
on the quarterback.
And defense, now they've shown us they have the potential, especially against terrific quarterbacks, to get to the quarterback. They have more talent defensively, young talent, not just Cooper, but I'd say Williams. And so what do you want them to do?
I want them to win. Have you ever played tennis?
Yes. Yeah, but
how many matches do you see between guys that are 3-set matches, even though it's a 5-setter, and the one guy's won like 6 more points than the other guy, and yet somehow he got beat 4-4-4?
Yeah.
right?
No,
And so he's played with him.
Right.
He's played with him the whole way, but he didn't beat him.
But the
And
fact,
so I
but
need
the
them
fact
to
is,
win those points.
even if they lose, the Packers are a better, different team. They will disappoint you, but you have a hard time coming up with anything you don't like about them because they've answered every question, right?
Except for can you beat one of those teams?
Right, and you have to do them you have to do it in the playoffs. And to me, it's no one knows because in the playoffs you're going to have to do it multiple times, right?
Yep. And if you can't do it once, it's going to be hard to do it multiple times.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, you pick it, and what's important, this from your coach. If you were, imagine a track guy, all right. If he has it in him, and even if he doesn't do it, the most important part is that they have it in him, so that you know that it's possible. Versus, ain't ever going to happen. Just doesn't have the ability to get that far. You would agree the Packers have shown the ability to do what you didn't think earlier in the year?
No, I think they're living up to what we thought maybe in the beginning of the year, which is they could get to the NFC Championship game, which I think would have been a great barometer.
And still
if they
is,
can
yes.
get that. So, and no, I think the people I've covered and track over the years is littered with guys that are like, that guy is a 9-8 guy at the dual meet. And for whatever reason, at the championship meet, he's a 10-1 guy. And
explain that, because that I never does that exist? That really does. I mean, you're right. I mean,
yeah, there are a bunch of guys that can run really fast in the prelim, or a bunch of guys that can run really fast when they know they're the fastest guy in the field. And now we all have the same time, and he's in with like kind, and all of a sudden that guy can't win because he's like, I know my time says I should be with these guys, but he doesn't feel like he belongs. I think it'd make the Packers feel every bit like they belong too.
Do you think the Packers feel like they belong? I just think they're young, and so that just creates a greater range.
I do think they belong. I think they believe that, but I do think there would be a different team to come out of there with a win. And that's something you can't experience until you experience, right? There's an old coach that says, she's a great track coach at BYU, and she's like, listen, you can't do it until you've done it.
Yeah.
And so,
and you're right. You only need to do it once. You don't need to do it every time.
Different confidence when you've done it.
Yeah, but you have to have done it once, right? You're right. And the Packers don't have a one, and the only way they can get one that's left is Minnesota. All right. Yeah,
like
you may have
rule
convinced
them out. I just don't say it doesn't rule them out. I'm just saying that if this argument is, am I on Gary's side or if I'm on Homer's side, I think in this case I would fall on Gary's side on the importance of winning.
And I might join this club now because of what's necessary in the playoffs. What's necessary in the playoffs is going to be going on the road and doing it multiple times. And you probably, no, you're just right. You need that to be confident, because doing it once, they've already experienced with Dallas. But to do it multiple times, yeah, I think they
wouldn't hurt.
They need to beat Minnesota, because the challenge is tough in the playoffs, right? I mean, it's when they did it before, they had Aaron Rodgers and the second-ranked defense in the league in points given up, and it was still really iffy. I mean, I always think about that Philly game. They could have easily lost that game at the end, right? I don't know. I can't remember exactly what happened, but
games are hard. I said this on Green Bay game day the other day when talking to Herm Edwards. Regardless of what you think of Herm as a head coach, whatever, Herm's got great sayings, and he will light up a room. And I said to him one time, and I forget who it was, but there was a pretty good team, and they had beaten somebody that was sort of a bottom feeder. And I said to Herm, I said, man, I've come to the conclusion it's hard to win a football game, regardless of who you're playing.
Right.
And he looked at me and gives one of those, man, it's hard to make a first down, and it's harder still to make two in a row. So it's hard to win football games, and it's doubly hard in the playoffs. No bad teams. Well,
no, and I
look at the South, and I look at the maybe they're going to.
And I look back at 2010, and I think they were very lucky to have to play the Bears in the NFC Championship game because the Bears just weren't that good. Everybody knew that, and I don't know I don't know who they'd have to play in the NFC Championship game this year to match the Bears. Is there a Bears team this year? Not really. I don't think. I don't know, but Tampa Bay.
So you might be okay in that first round. You're going to have to go on the road, and you might be okay with who you have to play there.
Correct.
By the way, it also helps to beat those teams at the end too, so you don't have to get stuck going to Detroit or to Philly. The first round. You desperately want to stay out of the 7 spot, so all that's important too. But they're going to have to beat 2 of those teams that are going to be really good. So at some point, again, show me that you can do it, and I think. Even though right now they would swear up and down, yep, we're ready. We can beat all those guys. We can play with them. They would have a different confidence level having walked in and actually beaten one of those teams, especially on the road.
We will go to the fourth quarter. I was off last week, so I didn't get to talk about Kansas, Missouri. But even this is the toughness of John Anderson. Even the win over Kansas. He was not willing to go as I was. I thought I wanted to do the show because I wouldn't have to say a word and he could talk for the entire hour about the greatness of beating Kansas. But he has standards even when beating the team he hates at a level that I can't even comprehend. Fourth quarter with 7-2.5, John Anderson. Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Monday Night Football. Is it a trap game? Hey, it's Alex Stroh from ESPN Wisconsin, getting you ready for Packers Saints beginning at 4 o'clock on Monday. Join me, Gabe Neitzel, and Super Bowl champion Jarrett Bush as we break down all things trap game, maybe, ahead of Packers Saints this Monday on Green Bay Game Day.
It's a Monday night edition of Green Bay Game Day for Week 16, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It all starts Monday at 4 p.m. on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube page.
Did you know that military veterans in Wisconsin carry millions of dollars in debt? This holiday season, it's time to give back to those who have given so much. Verizon and the Milwaukee Bucks are teaming up with ForgiveCo to make a difference with the Verizon Debt Relief Program. All December long, Verizon and ForgiveCo will relieve $250,000 of debt each week to ease the burden on local heroes. To find out how military veterans and members can receive special Verizon offers, visit verizon.com/military. Let's bring the spirit of giving to those who served.
Ready for a game changer? Now's the time to take your shot with Quartz, your local provider-owned and affordable health insurance. You can choose from a range of benefits to best support you and your family. Quartz is a proud partner of Aurora Healthcare, so you get to stay in the network you love. Visit quartzbenefits.com or call Saganiac Planning 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Quartz branded health plans are offered by Quartz Health Benefit Plans Corporation, Quartz Health Plan Corporation, and Quartz Health Insurance Corporation, which are separate legal entities. The Saganiac Planning Marquette Records. Coaches have always said, you got to make your free throws. They would have loved the 2017-18 Marquette team that, as a team, shot better than 80%. How? Marcus Howard missed 7, made 105. Andrew Rousey missed 19, made 175. Sam Hauser missed 10, made 51. And Matt Held, he missed 4 and made 28. A team better than 80% from the line. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Are you looking for reliable transportation this holiday season? I've got you covered. It's Jen Latta from ESPN Milwaukee, and with holiday parties, family gatherings, and year-end events on the horizon, I trust AccuTrans Group to handle all of my private transportation needs. Whether it's a corporate function or festive celebration, AccuTrans gets me there safely and on time. As a veteran-owned business, they pride themselves on top-notch service that you can count on. Booking is easy, stress-free, and reliable. Just visit AccuTransGroup.com to reserve your holiday ride today. That's AccuTransGroup.com.
Ring in 2025 at American Place Casino. Join us for the Oztacular Countdown featuring $50,000 promotional drawings, merchandise giveaways, live entertainment, and more. They say seeing is believing, and at American Place Casino, you'll believe you found a real game changer. From table games to the hottest slots, plus dining, bars, and more, we've got it all. This New Year's Eve, let the celebration begin. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Do want to mention about Dr. Aaron Holtebeck. I've been to their eye center. They cover everything, and they're getting better. So Dr. Aaron Holtebeck, Brookfield office, they make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art office. And to do even better, while he's been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years, he's covering even more because he wants to cover everything at whatever your age. So he added to his team the addition of Dr. Nausheen Abbas. Even more is covered at the top. Don't mess with your vision. Trust the experts from Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield, near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com. All right, back with the John Anderson Homer Hour. And because I was off, I didn't get a chance to have you just talk about Missouri whooping Kansas. And I know there were little things in there. Kansas was number one, but they'd already lost, so... and you said it wasn't conference. You made excellent points that really took away from it being historic in your life, right?
Right. Those are always good wins, but I have been around for bigger, more important wins. Where they were one and Missouri was ranked in the top three. I think we had a couple where they were 1 versus 2. I've had them where they've decided the Big 8 conference that were super important. I've had them where there were fights. Like nobody fought. That was kind of sad. And then it's kind of funny, at least in my thought, when it is one of those where they win. I had a couple of friends that I know that are from in and around Kansas City that are Jayhawk fans. They're like, you've been remarkably quiet. And when the Tigers win, I usually am kind of mum about it. That's not the time. I usually get after them when they lose to somebody that's really bad, like Bucknell or Bradley in the tournament. That's way more fun to get on them about this. And then the fact is when we play them, you just can't win by enough. Not only like we were ahead by 24 and I'm like, I really would like to be ahead by, like, I'll be like Green Bay Southwest women. The girls lost to De Pere 123-8. And I'm like, okay, that's a start. That's where I would like them to beat Kansas. So the outcome was in.
This is the salt of you that, like, people think you're kidding, but you're not.
No, I'm not. Not at all. No.
Like, if you were at that game and it was 123-8 toward the end, you'd go, let's go, keep it rolling. Don't let up, right? What would you be yelling?
I turned to the guy to my right. I was sitting with a guy named Tom Hiles. I was certain. I said, Tom, I can't believe we gave up that easy bucket at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's awful that way.
I may have told this story and I thought you might enjoy it because I took my church team and played AAU in the summer, and we played the team that was the second in the country. They beat us 84-8. And I have no complaint over, and I think it was a pretty good experience, but we're down like 46-4 at half. And we score the first basket in the second half. And a kid on my team, and this is long ago, but Andy McVoy says, Coach! I'm going like, what does he want? I go, what? He goes, we got him now. I thought, what a great line. How good is that? My most memorable line as a coach. I don't know. I'm curious as to you. I don't know what I would do. I would tell my players to just dribble the timeout, but I would probably ask the other coach, what do you want us to do? Right?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, that was.
It was 84-0 at half. It was a shutout at half, I believe.
Yeah, it was 81-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the men's team got beat by like 60-some.
No, but what would you do? I'd like to know.
Rob's son was on that team. Yeah. I asked Rob. I sent it after him, like, bad night for GBSW, and he's like, yeah, it was hard to watch. It was hard, his kids playing. His son, he said he had 17 points in 14 minutes, and Rowan's one of the starters on the team. And he's like, they were running clock. You do it. At some point, I get sportsmanship. I think they probably were. At some point, you got to be able to fend for yourself a little bit.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you, because you have a standard, and you have a little toughness in there. So what do? You're coaching the team that's really, really, really good. I said I would just ask the other coach, what do you want me to do? Whatever you want me to do, I'll do at some point. I don't even know if that enters your mind.
Right. And at some point, if your third string players are better than their first team players or whatever, those kids get to, they shouldn't have to just dribble in circles the whole time and then wait for the shot clock to go off and roll it over.
I can tell you what I had to do in our game, because we couldn't handle their press. So I called timeout, and I told the kid, I said, who can throw the ball the longest? I go, what? I go, I just want you to inbound the ball and throw it as far down the court as you can. Well, do I aim at anybody? No. I was like, why? Because we can guard them 5-on-5 pretty well. But when they steal the ball and get layup after layup after layup, so that's what we did, and we held them to 36 seconds. But I agree with you. At some point, I don't know, you have your worst players, right? And you're still crushing them.
At some point, and the clock's running, right? Apparently there's some rule that once it gets to 40, it's a running clock. And I went on to try to read a little bit to see if anybody was bitching about unsportsmanlike, and there really wasn't, right? Nobody, and sometimes, so often the national media that has no idea on some of the, what's happening locally, they'll see a score and they go, oh my gosh, look at these guys. They were horrible that they did that. Like, there hasn't been much of that.
Right. I mean, the idea to help would be get to the team and get a new coach to help out, or set up I mean, it's hard to believe you're that.
Man, that team under a guy named Dick Sieg, the late Mr. Sieg, who was my algebra teacher. He took them to state a couple of three times, and they had Natisha Heidemann, who's still playing in the WNBA, and she was great. And so I don't know why that the cycle has fallen to this, but oh well, it happens. All I'm saying is I would like to be, if the final score playing Kansas was 123-8, I really would have loved it to have been 123-6.
And the reason I brought this up is because I want to somehow let people know, one, that this isn't made up, or how to describe how bad you would like things to happen to Kansas and not feel the slightest bit bad about it. I mean, I have a hard time comprehending how much you hate Kansas. I'm not even.
Yeah, we kind of privately thought, now for this day to be perfect, their bus will break down on the way home.
And you're serious.
And they will have to
you're serious.
Sit on the side of the road for 4 hours.
You would not have felt bad if their bus broke down. Now, here's the question.
No, I would not have offered to change the tire.
That was my next thing. Would you come and drive by them and help, or you would help them?
No. Like, if somebody had said, hey, their bus is broken down, it's going to be 4 hours, I might have driven over there and waved at them as I just went by. Just made a special trip.
And that doesn't seem the slightest bit mean.
Here's the worst thing. You want to hear the worst thing that would do this? I was working in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and our assignment editor is a guy named Doug Owen. Doug and I went to school together, and we were in Tulsa, and we were at a place called the Full Moon on Cherry Street, and I'm like, dude, I got to go to the bathroom. He goes, me too. And the line was like 8 people out the door. Okay. We got in our car. We drove to Kansas, which is 62 miles away, crossed the border, went to the bathroom in Kansas, and turned around, went back to the bar.
What?
Just to pee on Kansas. That's awful.
How, when did anybody say to you, you're going too far?
No, everybody's like, oh, that's awesome.
No, I don't mean that day. I mean in general.
I know most of my friends would have said, if I'd have known, we'd have gone with you.
No, but I'm saying in general, does anybody say, like, you've gone too far? When did this first start? When did it reach a level to me is like, that's so deep you can, get to the center of the earth? When?
Just you got to know the history. If
no,
you don't know about
okay, fine, you know the history.
Burning down Kansas, then burning down Lawrence, then you don't, then it's hard to see. But it really, honestly,
it hasn't softened over the years.
No, it's only hardened. It only gets worse. Only gets worse.
Have you ever run into anybody who dislikes anything like a sports team as much as you dislike Kansas? I mean, do you feel like
yeah,
you're
most of the Jayhawks people I know don't like Missouri the same way.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am not
Then
one
this
of one.
is, to me,
I am
this
a fan
is
of many.
This is the greatest rivalry ever. I don't care. I mean, you laugh at the flag on the center of the field. That's nothing. That doesn't even count. That's not even top 100, right? I mean, in terms of behavior, the Kansas-Missouri rivalry might be the greatest ever, right? I mean, it's...
If you're in it, if you were in it, I would say
in terms of behavior.
Yeah. And I think some of it has to do too is that although I was not very good, I did wear a Missouri uniform and have to compete against them. I think that makes a difference. And if you knew my coach, the 101-year-old coach Bob Thiel, who never cursed, was the most Southern gentleman, could not have been kinder. If you'd have seen him stand up in that meeting room we had one year, my freshman year, and they had picked us 7th in the Big 8 and in the conference meet for indoor, and he looked around, told everybody that we were better than that. They have completely misjudged us, and he said, but I'll tell you what, I'll take 7th place if, and he got all red in the face, and finally he just said, men, I would rather spit than be a Jayhawk. And that was all I mean, that's still the meanest thing I've ever heard and the most bitter thing I have ever heard out of anybody about it.
It's too bad to me that Mr. Rogers wasn't a part of this, because I would love to have you say, you can't believe what Mr. Rogers did. I will financially support you within reason if you write a book on the greatest rivalry ever, and it isn't even close. That's what I want the title.
There are books out on here. There are books out on there.
No, based on behavior. I just want the book on behavior, on you interviewing incidents that prove, because it's all about actions. Talk is cheap, right? I mean, how many people, how far have people driven to pee?
It's terrible.
No, it's.
I'm not proud.
All right, now we'll close because we're out of time. But I don't want to do the show if the Packers lose to New Orleans. I don't want to do it with you. I don't.
Okay.
Is that okay, or do you think?
I'll be
I mean,
fine.
they can't lose that game. You'll be okay.
Well. They can't. It'll be worse than trading Devin Williams if they lose that game.
Well, they had to trade Devin Williams. I'm glad they did. They don't.
Yeah, I just hate that you got to do it all the time. That's the thing. They had to.
Right, but it's the only way you can win.
When the economics of it all force you to do things that you'd rather not.
And it's made the game better than it should be because they don't have a salary cap. They couldn't get the unit. So you create these incredible luxury taxes. And, I mean, it's amazing that the Brewers have been as good as they are. Once the teams that are really rich, maybe it'll be the Dodgers, the Mets, and they're smart and rich, it's over, right? You can't compete. They're going to, but it hasn't happened yet. Partly because the Brewers have been so good at who they have acquired, right?
There is a difference between throwing money at the problem, like the Yankees and Mets and some of these teams do, and actually just solving the problem. Hey, what do we need? Do we have this in our farm system? Can we draft this? Can we do that? Like, there's a difference between organic. It's like, let's do this smart, as opposed to just like, okay, hey, this is broke. Let's go to the Home Depot and we'll just not only buy one, we'll buy the biggest one and the most expensive one, even if it doesn't exactly fit, and then we'll just wedge it in there.
So I mean, I know you're bothered, but I mean, to me, it's like compared to Kansas, Missouri, it's just nothing.
No, it's not even close.
And it doesn't come as a surprise. I've said I think the Brewers are going to win the World Series in the next 5 years, but I'm a little worried because the rich teams are getting smarter. And it's really surprising that the Dodgers haven't won more than they have. And the Mets with David Stearns are going to be tougher, right? I mean,
okay, but look at that. So then the Mets take Stearns, and now what can he do with that kind of budget? Or look at the Cubs the other day, who got they brought in Tucker, and they're still a little more fiscally responsible right now. But that's part of the reason Craig Counsell left, right? Is because he's got those resources now that they can do those things. And that's that in a nutshell. Is like, that's why that job's easier than the one he had for 9 years. And did great at 9 years.
Yeah, we're out of time. Do you have a final thought you want to leave us?
I hope we get to do the show next Tuesday. I really don't. If that's the case, I want to hear bitter Homer. I want to see bitter Homer on post New Orleans.
I will be better because they're good. They know they're good. Now kick some butt. And, I mean, I understand if you win by a point or 2 points, it can be close or something like that, because we have not discussed the third quarter against Seattle. It was one of the worst quarters I've ever seen the Packers play. They were stupid. They didn't even try. But yet when they needed to at the end, the offense did what they needed to. It was like, well, you had to adjust. It shouldn't take that long to adjust to whatever the defense was doing. But they bounced back, so it's not really even a topic. But that was some horrible football. Stupid, horrible football for like a quarter, right?
Yeah, the mid-third quarter to the 10-minute mark of the other one.
But anyway, all right. Yeah, no, I'll be here even if they lose to New Orleans. But yes, I will be bitter. It's bad to say that because nothing counts compared to you when it comes to Kansas. So it's like we're all just playing for second place. But that's all right.
Got to live it to know it.
Yeah. That's correct, and I will never live it like you have, and I still have trouble understanding it. That's why I keep asking for more examples. It'll be tough to beat peeing. How many miles again did you drive?
I think from Tulsa to the borders. No, you got to go up through Bartlesville, and I don't know. It's probably 60-some.
Yeah, come on. Till I hear better, that's top of the list. Thanks, 7-2.5. John Anderson.
Be good.
The John Anderson Homer Hour every Tuesday at this time. As I like to say, whatever's next isn't as good. Next.
Still heavy on eastbound 94. We're looking at delays going through the Barker Road area, then back on the brakes from the Zoo all the way to 35th. The westbound side is slow from 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. Still a little bit backed up from Moreland Road into the Barker Road area as well. Southbound 43 slowing down from Keefe down to Locust, back on the brakes from just south of North Avenue down through the Marquette. Northbound's a bit heavy too, right around that North Avenue curve up towards Keefe. Things are getting better on 41. We really only have delays right past Silver Spring, maybe a little bit heading through the Capitol Drive area. You'll be back on the brakes south of Oklahoma Avenue on the bypass down and around the Hale interchange to about Forest Home. Traffic is brought to you by Land Rover Waukesha. Get 3.9 special APR financing for up to 72 months on a new 2025 Range Rover Velar at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to landroverwaukesha.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast. Tonight, snow showers likely, less than an inch of accumulation with a low of 28. Tomorrow, a chance for morning snow, then mostly cloudy, breezy, a high of 33. Weather is brought to you by the Corners of Brookfield. Help the big guy out this holiday season. Drop off your little one's letters in a special North Pole mailbox in the Market Square through December 22nd. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Oh, my back.
Santa?
Gina Jello from Pella. You've been a good girl this year.
Is that why you're in here building new windows?
Santa's doing OT.
Let me make a call.